searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, but those eyes so bright. They look into my soul.
Really? Yeah,
Hello? Okay. That's better.
I love being there when you do stuff you've never done before, like film an entire season of reality TV.
Oh my God.
What's the drama going to be, guys?
Oh, yeah. You asked me that right before we started filming. You're like,
Oh,
what's
yeah.
the drama
I
gonna
had
be? I
no
don't get
idea.
it. I was like, oh, just wait.
You were right.
All right. Welcome back to Scheananigans, everyone. This week, I'm joined by two of my favorite Valley Girls. I've been wanting to do a Valley Girls podcast. Today, we are doing it. I've got my girl, Janet, and the beautiful realtor, Michelle.
Woo!
Hi.
Welcome, Michelle. Your first ever podcast you've done?
No, she did Brittany's.
I did Brittany's twice. But
Yeah.
first time with Scheana
Yay.
And in a studio
and in a studio.
with the headphones on.
I'm starting to get
oh,
nervous.
wait, Brittany's just at home?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Very casual. So this is a little more formal.
A little different. We've got the desk. We've got the tea that we're going to sip and spill. Cameras.
I love it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, if you heard a little bit before we started this intro, Michelle is very new to reality TV as a whole, doesn't watch it, never been a part of it. And when the season started, she's like, so what's the drama going to be?
I had no idea. And I wish
We're
I did
like,
a little
"That's
more
so
research
cute."
beforehand because I just went into it and just like was quiet, trying to figure it out. And Jesse was the opposite. He was a planner. He had an intention every time of how he was going to go into a situation.
So how are you feeling now with the drama?
It's a lot more than I thought. I think everybody has their own story. It's crazy to rewatch it all, but yeah, it's a lot. It's been difficult.
I feel like you've really stepped out of your comfort zone because you are a very peaceful, calm, kind person. And I feel like being thrown into this, it was like you don't really, I feel like, have confrontations with people like this.
Never.
ever.
I never fight with people. So I just think that it was a completely different type of atmosphere that I wasn't used to.
No, it's a lot. And then it's one thing to live it and experience it. It's a whole other layer to watch it back, get everyone else's perspectives, and then on top of that, have the whole world commenting what they think.
Exactly. I didn't realize that they were going to do that. And I thought that I was going to be portrayed or really show how I was struggling, but I think I kept that very internal. So it's kind of hard to understand me in some of the episodes.
I'm proud of you because I really feel like I feel like even though maybe it felt, I don't know, uncomfortable or whatever, I feel like you really did share a lot of what you were going through and it was relatable.
Yeah.
Like, I've been divorced, you've been divorced, like that kind of like
I'll
leading
be
up.
divorced by the end of the year.
Yeah, but the separating and making those decisions and like working on your marriage, like I really do feel like you guys put everything into it. Like you did all the things you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think you guys shared it and were as honest as you can. And I think actually in season 2, people will see maybe how much you were struggling this season because now when I see you, you're so light and bright and happy and like just have a totally different aura and vibe about yourself. And I'm like, I didn't realize until we were like hanging out again more recently that like how
The real me. Yeah. I'm a happy
and
person.
watching it back, I'm like, oh, like this isn't Michelle or like this is the Michelle I know now.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, we have a lot of that we're going to get into, but first, how are we? How was our weekends? I saw that y'all went to church with Nia and Danny.
Yeah.
She's invited me so many times and we're always out of town, but I want
You
to do
have
that
to
and bring
come.
Summer.
Yeah. So Nia has been going, Danny and Nia, for a long time
Yeah.
to that church in Hollywood. And my boyfriend, Aaron, actually always went. So he started inviting me. And it was just a coincidence that Nia was there. So we kind of began a little ritual. And then we keep inviting whoever wants to come on Sunday. So it's like, you came last weekend. And then the weekend before was Jasmine and Brittany. So it's kind of cool to have the Valley cast and our friends come to church with us.
I love
was
that.
the first time I've been in a church in years. Like I'm not a super like organized religious person. I'm like, I would consider myself like, I don't know, not spiritual either, but just.
No, I get that.
I don't know. Like I'd like to think I have good morals.
Yeah.
But that was the first time, and it was really beautiful. And like, I think the sermon was a lot about forgiveness, and like Michelle and I kept kind of like
we kept looking at each other. And
I was like, is this a literal sign from God?
Right?
It was a perfect message, and I think it's what I needed.
Yeah. And it was interesting just that it was like the group that was there. It was for Nia and Daniel's twins. It's like I think like a modern day baptism. They dedicate them to God, and then they kind of have a choice when they're older to get baptized and then do confirmation. I think it's like we want to, I don't know, dedicate you to our beliefs, but you kind of get to choose.
I like
sort
that.
of thing. Yeah.
I was raised Catholic, and so that was, obviously very structured and organized, and I knew I did not want to raise my daughter that way, but the couple times I've gone down to San Diego to do EMDR therapy while I'm in therapy, because she can only do it in person on Sundays, Brock will take her to church with my cousins.
Aww.
And he says that Summer has just had the best time, but I haven't been able to go with her yet. So then when I saw all of you girls there, I'm like,
and
okay,
then
we need
they
to
have
do
a
this. She
kids
loves the music.
section, and they get to hang out together.
Yeah.
So Isabella and Asher were together.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you get to send them also for like an hour.
Yeah, it's like 1 hour. Exactly. I needed a little break. And
with like good people and good kids. So
yeah, totally. So I saw the photo where you're all there with your partners, and Aaron was holding Isabella.
Yes.
So with something like that, how is Jessie, and how would it be if it were the other way around, where you see Jessie's girlfriend holding Isabella?
Well, it wasn't intentional. Actually, originally the girls wanted to take a picture with all our kids, and then Danny and Jason wanted to take a picture, and Isabella saw, so she wanted to be included. So she said, Aaron, let's take a picture.
She like ran up.
She ran up and wanted to be part of it. So of course. So it wasn't like intentional, or it was just like in the moment, let's take a picture.
Yeah.
You don't tell Isabella no.
Yeah,
No,
you
of
can't
course
say
not.
no.
Little princess.
Yeah, so I actually didn't repost it because I wasn't sure, even though I thought it was adorable, but I wanted to, I haven't had specific talks with Jessie, and we're still trying to navigate, and we're constantly getting mad at each other, like, you shouldn't do that. And so it's just a process, and we haven't figured that out yet, but other people did post it and everybody saw. We didn't repost it, but Jessie, he didn't reach out to me immediately. We were kind of going back and forth about something else that I was angry about. And then he kind of decided to throw that in there and say that he was not happy about it and he wouldn't do the same, even though he does. So again, it's hard. It's a little bit of a double standard of I do this, but you can't do that. And so trying to navigate that has been a little complicated.
I can only imagine. I mean, we both got divorced when we didn't have a child.
Yeah.
So that adds an extremely different layer that is so tough. But I think, with time, you guys are obviously going to figure it out. And as long as you're both happy and Isabella sees that both of her parents are happy, that's what matters.
She's thriving. And I really mean that, because I didn't realize that she was paying attention. Even if she was in the other room, she could hear us just not happy and yelling. And the fact that we have two different homes, like she has progressed a lot.
Yeah. And she thinks, she's like excited. She's like, I have two houses now. Like she's like, thinks that she's like, it's like cool to her. She's like, oh, I had one before and now I have two.
Right? No, kids do like that. That's what Summer is, where she's like, I have two pools, I have Palm Springs, and then she just calls the Valley House her new big house.
Oh,
yeah.
Her new big house.
It was so cute. We were walking upstairs a couple weeks ago and she goes, Mom, thanks for buying me this house. And I go, oh, you're welcome,
beautiful.
honey. And she goes, it's just so big.
Oh,
it's like, you're welcome. Whenever she has people over, she wants to give a tour. And she goes, so I have two rooms. And she goes and shows her playroom and her
Hard
bedroom.
work pays off.
You know? Yeah, that's what I said. So I actually want to get into a little bit more about you and Aaron. I know you did an Instagram live recently where you guys discussed how you met. And I'm sure you probably talked about it on Brittany's podcast. But for all the Scheananigans listeners out there, just tell us about how you guys met and reconnected and all of that.
Yeah, so I love to walk every day and either walk or hike. And we both live very near each other. And there's a local coffee shop that everybody goes to. So one day I had my headphones on, was grabbing a coffee, and Isabella was in the stroller, walked in, and apparently Isabella and Aaron had a moment, and they were just like waving at each other from far away.
Cute.
I mean, I don't know. She's hilarious. She picked him, and they waved at each other, and I actually didn't even notice him, pay attention, and I left. And I think a week later, I came back in, and then he said that he was like trying to scoot over. There was like a family in between us. And then I was just grabbing a coffee, and he just kind of started talking to me, and we just kind of clicked right away. And we kept seeing each other randomly, and we would just like wave to each other and have very small talk, like, hi, how are you? Once Jesse and I separated, we ran into each other at Runyon, said hello. And then I just kind of said, interesting story. And I kind of told him that we separated and we weren't together. And he's like, funny, I just broke up. Me and my girlfriend broke up.
Timing.
And so, yeah, timing was perfect. And he's like, hey, you want to go out for lunch right now? And I'm like, sure.
Aww. An impromptu lunch date? I don't know if I've heard this story. That's really cute.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
That is cute.
We went for Mexican and had a margarita, and it
That's
was a lot of
cute.
fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes the universe does that where I feel
Yeah.
like timing wise, it just like puts two people in the right place at the right time. And yeah, timing's everything with relationships.
No,
Yeah.
totally. So how has it been for you dating, while going through a separation?
For me, it's been helpful because I was already alone for so long.
Yeah.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
married, but the reality is I felt very alone in mentally, sexually, physically, everything you can think of. And so although a lot of people might think that I just jumped into a relationship, it wasn't that. I was like ready for
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
You were
So-
checked out for a while.
I was. So it was good. And I went on a couple dates with a couple different guys, and Aaron and I just clicked so well that I was like, I don't need to date other guys. I want to date
Yeah.
just you.
You
I
guys
love
are
that.
like magnets together. At Sheena's birthday,
Yeah.
like every time I looked over at you guys, it was just like he would have his hand on your shoulder or like be like touching your back, or
It's
you guys would
everything
just
I
be,
ever
like,
wanted.
locked into each other's eyes. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like you guys are like giving me butterflies
Yeah.
looking at you guys. It
and
was
even
so
just
cute.
the way she smiles.
I
Like she's
know.
smiling right now. And even on the
I
Instagram
know.
live I was watching, and people were commenting like, look at this smile.
Yeah.
We don't see this smile in
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of season 1. We see where you're like,
Yep.
Jesse touches you and you're like, oh, please don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize how trapped and sad, and I was just going through
Yeah.
so much, and it was just hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's hard to watch back, seeing yourself in such a different place, but at least knowing where you're at now and seeing how happy you are, you can reflect on, that was then, this is now, and
Absolutely.
the smile says it all.
Yeah.
Probably reassuring too, to kind of like be able to have that chapter like where you can look back and just be like, yeah, this wasn't the thing for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. With dating someone new, and same for Jesse, did you guys set ground rules or things where it's like, don't do this, make sure you do this when
Yes
Isabella's
and no.
around?
Yes and no. We are kind of handling day by day.
Yeah.
Originally, we had some basic rules, like we're not introducing anybody to Isabella for a long time until it's serious, and then we will let each other know. And then if you want to meet that partner, and then eventually Isabella. And then Jesse kind of did the opposite of that and didn't listen to his own advice and rules. And he immediately introduced Isabella to who he was dating. And I originally was very upset because that was not what we talked about. And so it just kind of fast tracked everything because
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, I'm dating one person and it's serious. So that's why I felt that it was okay to introduce Isabella to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's been hard. But no, it's just, I mean, we
can only imagine,
we do
yeah.
text back and forth like, I didn't like this. I didn't like this.
Yeah.
You guys are working through it, and it's just going to take time before everything settles out. But I feel like you guys are, I know you guys both love Isabella so much, and it's very clear, like, your goal is, like, I think you've said this, publicly too, but, like, you want to be friends one day or, like, friendly. And I think you guys will get there. You just have to work out all the kinks first.
Yeah. And even celebrating her birthday together, like having
That was a big moment for
both
us.
people there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and Isabella probably loved that.
She really did.
Yeah. You guys will figure it out, you
Yeah.
know? It's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Time heals all.
That it does. Okay, we're going to take a quick little break, and then we'll be right back with a fun game of Valley Superlatives. Hey, Scheananigans listeners. I'm here to tell you there's no reason to panic the next time you're searching for the perfect gift. Now you can use gift mode on Etsy. So let me tell you about this, okay? Gift mode on Etsy takes the stress out of gifting so you can find the perfect item for anyone and any occasion. It's so easy. I swear Summer could do it. You just tap or click gift mode on your Etsy app or go to Etsy.com. You answer a few short questions about like who you're shopping for, what they like, and gift mode. Get this. They instantly give you curated gift ideas based on hundreds of personas. And when I say personas, I'm talking about if you have a friend who's the 90s kid, if you have someone who's a dog lover, a pickleballer, a true crime fan, the Virgo, the writer, the comedian. I mean, the list goes on and on, but there is a perfect gift for everyone. There are so many things that I have gotten on Etsy for my daughter's room, gifts I've gotten for people, personalized puzzles with the kid's name. It's a great baby shower gift, birthday gift. I mean, Etsy literally has it all. Etsy is also so artsy, and that's what I love about it. So now it's simple to find gifts made by independent sellers for all of the people in your life, whether it's, a housewarming gift for the new homeowner or a birthday present, like I said, for, say, the pickleballer. Gift Mode has you covered. If you need to find the perfect gift, don't panic. Try Gift Mode on Etsy now. All right, so we have a lot to cover this week. We had the VPR reunion, part 2, the baby moon from hell for Jasmine, and everything else going on outside of these shows. But first, I wanted to see, I've done this with Janet before, how you would rate some of your castmates from the Valley with a game of superlatives. So
let's do it.
I also want to see if any of your answers have changed now that we're a little deeper into the season.
Okay, so you've done this test.
Did we do the exact same ones?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, who's the most punctual?
Me,
Love that. Who has the biggest ego?
Jesse.
Most improved from beginning of the season to end?
Ooh, I think Nia
Okay.
with the postpartum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Biggest gossip?
Don't look at me.
Kristen, Zack, and Janet. Sorry.
That's okay. I admit it.
Hey, I love the goss. I love when you call me and you're like, hey, gotta tell you something.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, tea.
But note the topics. That's all I'll say. Note the topics of what I'm gossiping about versus other people.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Pay
True.
attention, people.
Best hostess?
Brittany,
Mm-hmm. Best or worst cook?
I'm definitely the worst cook. I'll burn anything. Janet, best cook.
Thanks.
Yeah. We're going to get into more of that from Big Bear. Peacemaker?
Brittany and Nia.
Mm-hmm. Pot stirrer?
Jax and Jesse.
Yeah. Who has the most enviable wardrobe?
Me?
I was
I
going
was
to
gonna say,
say
you
you.
can say
Can I
yourself.
say me?
Yeah.
You have the best. If I
You
could
do.
raid someone's closet, it would be yours. It just nothing would fit me.
I don't have a big closet, but whatever. I buy what I love.
Yeah.
You have some good designers too.
Thank
And not like the, I don't know, not like the labels everywhere, but like I'll be like, oh my gosh, who makes that dress? And you'll say a designer. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And it doesn't even say it all over
Yeah.
it.
Just a sophisticated.
Yeah.
Very sophisticated.
Yeah, we love sophisticated.
Best glam squad?
Maybe Brittany.
Yeah.
Brittany's got one. Everybody's always stealing hers.
Yeah.
Well, because, okay, so after Jared was no longer doing makeup,
Mhm.
Jared referred all of us to Anais.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she does a lot of our makeup because she's also incredible.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it usually works with scheduling. But it's like, I know if Brittany needs her, I'm like, she
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
technically yours first.
Mhm.
I have Mariana, but I stole her from
Raquel.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Raquel,
That's
so.
why I won't give
I know.
anybody my nanny information.
Yeah, no, that's
When you
the
find
thing.
somebody good, you don't want to share them.
I know. That's been a thing in this group too.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, most likely to hang out with a famous Hollywood director.
I wonder who.
Maybe.
Me.
I've hung out with a more famous Hollywood director, and it's skirted
Really?
by. Yeah, I just signed too many NDAs for it.
Wait.
Oh, I'll need to
Yes.
ask you later about that.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Best and worst confessional looks of the season.
Ooh.
Looks in terms of appearance?
Just like outfits or just like, hairstyles or whatever. Is there anyone of your own or someone else's that was your favorite?
Not favorite. Luke's. Not
Mhm.
my favorite.
Also, Zach's because he couldn't get his hair cut and that whole thing, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I like Brittany in the denim.
Me too.
With the
Ooh,
straight
yeah.
hair.
Me too.
That's one of my favorite
And the
interview looks she's
gold-
ever had.
She has like gold
And I
straps.
really
Yeah.
like yours when your hair is like back with the white dress.
Oh, yeah.
I liked that look.
Yeah, that was a
fun.
good look.
That was
That was a
fun.
good one. Most likely to leave and never come back.
Oh, that's a hard one.
See, because I feel like this answer changed from when we did it.
Yeah.
Leave the show?
Yeah.
I think everybody has their moment.
Yeah, we all have our moments. Maybe Danny? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Okay. Well, stay tuned. Who is the MVP of the season?
Hmm.
I need help with that
I feel like everybody deserves
Jason?
some credit.
Yeah.
Jason always,
Maybe
yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
He voiced his opinion without getting into any trouble, which is also
He's
how he
really
does
good
in
at
life.
that.
I know.
No,
he's
he is.
fair. He's so fair to everybody.
Yeah. Who is the number one guy in the group?
None of them.
Jason.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason's the sweetest.
Yeah. No,
He
I
is the
agree.
nicest.
But speaking of the guys in the group, so my next question, it might be a little shallow, emphasis on little and shallow. So we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off here and throw it right out there. Do either of you know the definition of Napoleon complex?
I
Yes.
actually don't.
Okay. So for those who aren't caught up on the Valley, there's a moment this last episode where the guys are out fishing and Danny claims to have Napoleon complex but uses it completely incorrectly and Jason explains what it is. So for Michelle, I'll tell you. So the Napoleon complex is also known as Napoleon syndrome. It's a purported condition normally attributed to people of short stature with overly aggressive or domineering social behavior. It implies that such behavior is to compensate for the subject's physical or social shortcomings.
I think it came from Napoleon, who was a
Yeah.
conquistador.
Yeah, like way
he
back
wanted
in the
to,
day.
and he took over so much land. And it said people said it's because he was so short. He had to take over the most
Yeah.
land to
You're
make
like
up for the fact.
overcompensating,
Yeah.
you know, like if you have a small dick and then you act like you have big dick energy.
Yeah.
It's like,
Got it.
so when he said it, he's like, you know, I only date girls who are like 5'3", 5'4". Napoleon complex, sure. But, you know, and Jason's like, that's not
the
what that
definition
means.
is.
And it's like he's saying that himself, he has Napoleon complex. I'm like, that's also not like a compliment.
No.
It's not really a good thing to say about yourself when you're using it incorrectly.
I think he meant that he maybe has been insecure about dating taller women.
Yeah,
But it's not, that's
It
not
is not
Napoleon
that.
complex. That Danny is like the opposite of that, actually.
literally.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about Jax's comment where I saw everyone's been saying like Nia and Danny, couple of the year, like number one couple. And then Jax had commented somewhere, I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, and said, we'll see how this ages. What did he mean about that?
I wanted to be like, Jax, we already secured a season 2. You don't have to do this.
I know. Everybody's trying
Relax.
to take down couples.
Right.
I don't know why.
I mean, that's what Jax does.
Focus on your own relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody warned me before we got into, filming that if like we look too happy or too perfect, it'll put the target on our back, specifically with Jax.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, good thing I
There
don't
it
look
is.
perfect.
Mhm.
So I guess it's against Danny and Nia. I don't know. Jax is always stirring something up.
Well, I also saw that for the second time on his podcast, he has said that he does not want me or Lala to join the Valley because it would be disrespectful to the current cast and like no one wants us. And I'm like, actually, Jax, I just think you don't want us. If we did a poll, these are all of our friends.
I've said publicly.
You're afraid of me and
too.
Lala being on the show because we're going to call you out for the shit we actually know.
I think, before, like when it was announced that the Valley was happening and kind of the cast, a lot of the Bravo, fan base was like, we didn't ask for this. We don't want this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
then
don't want to
after-
learn about a new family couple.
And they're like, we don't want Jax back. And like, people had a really strong stance. And then it was like episode 2 or 3, people were like, I'm sorry. I want to apologize for my, remarks of this. So I think that it's also sometimes the more people are like, we don't want this. Actually, you might.
Yeah.
Just wait.
But when the whole concept of the Valley was coming to fruition, Jax and Brittany were the ones that were like, we want you and Brock in it. I'm like, oh, but now that we're in a little bit of a you blocked me on Instagram phase, you're like, we don't want Scheana. It's disrespectful to the cast. I'm like,
I don't
have we
see
done
how
a poll
that's-
of the whole cast?
Yeah.
My
How is
friends?
that disrespectful?
I think also the reason all of the Valley works is because it is like an authentic group of
Literally.
friends. Like, and you are one of our very authentic friends. So is
Yeah.
Lala. I just did a pool day with her yesterday. So if that makes sense and timing wise, like, and that's what
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense for me.
Yeah. The one thing he said that I agreed with is he said, we don't need them. And I'm like, you're right. You don't need us. But I think some of you want us. So. Okay, so I want to get back to this week's episode because it started off on a bit of a cliffhanger with your conversation with Jax sitting down where he brings up the gossip that he heard from Kristen about you supposedly inappropriately texting other men. So I just have to ask, like, was there any truth to this and where did the rumors come from? Because Jack says he was told by Kristen, but it's like, was he just like scapegoating her?
Yeah. There was so much back and forth and, boyfriend and sexy pictures and this and that.
Yeah, the boyfriend for a year. I'm like,
I
what?
mean, that's ridiculous.
I know.
But I never set everything straight. Jesse was aware of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was a lot of confusion about my real estate business because the reality is, yes, I do text a lot of guys and women, but I do. And I meet people for coffee and lunch. And like maybe people who are not in that industry might not understand that. And I do think that Kristen didn't understand that. In terms of the sexy pictures, I think I know where she got that from.
Oh, do tell.
So when we went to Brittany's birthday, what was it? Birthday celebration?
Yeah.
No, in Vegas.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we
last year.
Yeah, we all went to Vegas together,
That was pre-pregnancy because I got wasted.
It was. You were.
Oh no, I think that was the
one.
first time I really hung out with you. I was like, oh my god,
you saw Janet's everything.
I saw
that
her
trip.
naked. Yeah.
It was truth
On
or
a treadmill.
dare.
Naked on a treadmill.
Anyways, it was so many girls. We were all having fun. It was a whole Vegas weekend. I was posting a bunch of stories, like TikToks. We're dancing and. On Instagram, like I was getting a lot of like hearts and like responding to my stories. And so I said, oh, look at this actor. He was like liking my stories and stuff like that. And that turned into I was sending sexy pictures. But it was just like it was a sexy video of me and everybody in it. And
It's
like
like private.
No,
You're not sending a private.
it was not a private text message that I sent. It
You're
was
like, I just
public.
am sexy and I'm putting it out there.
And he liked the story.
And that's what it was.
Yeah.
The telephone game has gotten everybody into a lot of trouble.
Literally. That's what I did appreciate, at least, that in this episode, Jesse was like, nope, Jax, you're coming up. Like, we're not doing this game of telephone. Like, let's all have the conversation together. So Jesse said on Watch What Happens Live this week that while he didn't believe it at the time, did you watch him last night on Watch What Happens Live?
I watched some of it, yes.
Okay, so he said that now he does think some inappropriate texting may have been going on. So why do you think he's changing his tune? Do you think it was the picture of Aaron holding Isabella and now he's just like saying shit?
I think we were just mad at each other about other things.
Yeah.
Isabella's schedule. He was in Palm Springs and Vegas and I've been very sick and I just feel like work and Isabella has been put on me. And so sometimes I'm like texting him trying to figure out a lot of things. And so I think the back and forth and then the fighting and then he went on Watch What Happens Live. So it was just a moment of him mad at me.
Yeah.
So he decided to say that.
Wanted to. It's sad, but when you go through, like, I feel like separation, divorce, all of that, unfortunately, there's moments where you want to hurt each other.
Yeah. And it's hard too when it's not private, you're going through this publicly and then he could be mad at you an hour before he goes on live television and it's going to change the way he answers a question.
Exactly.
I did feel like for the most part though, like he did say you guys are co-parenting really well. Like I feel like, when you say something like that, he probably didn't feel good about it. And I feel like he changed his tune kind of quickly when he was asked about like Isabella's birthday and stuff like that. Like he did say nice things about you.
It's very much a roller coaster. That's what I
Yeah.
say. It's like we have good days and we have really bad days. And it is the first time that we're both on TV, first time we're getting all these comments. Like it's all very brand new to
it's
us.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The question for both of you, what do you think Jax's motivations were with this sit down? Like, was he exaggerating or do you think he was, in true Jax form, trying to, deflect from his own marital issues?
100% deflect.
Both.
Yeah.
Because the focus was on my marriage and not theirs.
You could see when he said something like, like 2.
My marriage is on the fence too.
And I don't think he
Jason-
meant to say that. It
No, it
just
was a
came out
Freudian slip.
naturally.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. And Jason, was it Jason or Danny
Jason,
that was like 2?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's got to mean to never mind, not 2. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's focus on Jesse and Michelle.
yeah.
No, that was literally the next thing I was going to bring up is Jason goes, wait, you're saying 2, that implies your marriage is on the fence? And he got so defensive, completely doubled down. It was like, no, like we don't believe in divorce. We don't believe in separation. She's never leaving me. Everything's fine. My marriage is great. And it was like, whoa, bro. You're the one who said it. It's called a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Jax doesn't know who Freud is or what that is.
And by the way, Jesse was right because he was the same as Jax a year prior.
I know.
So he was trying to help him.
Yeah.
Like, I've been in your situation. Don't
Yeah.
ignore it. And like, let's solve it.
Yeah. I feel like that conversation that we saw too, it's like you do see someone who's been a longtime friend of Jax's kind of calling him out and giving him some perspective. So I did appreciate that from Jesse because I feel like the guys in this group, you know, Jason is more on the passive side. You know, he's not a confrontational person.
Yep.
Danny, like Luke may, you know, go off because he's like defending Kristen or whatever. But out of this group, it's like what guy is going to call out Jax on his shit?
It's tough. Jax isn't fun to call out.
Yeah. No, but I know that that's why he doesn't want me and Brock around because I'm like, bro.
Brock and him go toe to toe. There's been a
I
couple
know.
things recently where I'm like, ooh.
Because when Brock sees something, he's going to call it out.
Well, Brock's also very in tune with his emotions.
Yes.
And he's like, I feel this way, and that's why I you know, did this. Or like he has no problem like expressing that. And I think that that's actually something Jax really struggles with is being like, this happened. I feel this way. And instead of just being like, hey, this hurt my feelings, he's like, you're a shit friend. And you're like, wait, what? Like,
Literally, I don't even remember what I said at this point to make him block me. I think he
oh, you're blocked now?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm blocked. I think my mom, he unfollowed. I mean, he just like went on one. And I think it was because I defended Brittany saying that she deserves to be treated with respect because she does. And this episode was extra uncomfortable to watch. It's like, I know firsthand how it is, you know, to watch something on TV, but it is completely different to live it. So what was it like filming with them last summer? And was his treatment of her worse than what we saw? Was it better? Because, I mean, that just must have been very uncomfortable to be around. I wanted to strangle him through my TV.
Yeah. I would say it was accurate.
It is. I've had moments where we would always have pool parties and going in and out. He would just like get angry very fast.
Short fuse.
Exactly. And you never know how he's going to be. Good mood, bad mood. And he's kind of similar. Jesse and Jax have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's never comfortable watching your friends fight in front of you. Like, I'm like, go into your room and have it out for a minute and then come back smiling and pretend everything's okay. So it wasn't fun, but I would say it was like accurate to, you know, it was portrayed accurately, I think.
Yeah.
I think the different part of it now is seeing what their conversations are like behind closed doors when nobody's there that we didn't have, you know, access to before. But like that conversation where Brittany snatches his phone out of his hand and is like, stop it. Like, I'm talking to you. Like,
I felt like that was me. That's exactly what I used to do. It's like, pay attention to me.
Totally.
It is like, I really do feel like they were just like a couple steps behind you guys.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy. And with Jax, it's like, it's so frustrating to see when he's just like constantly like on Brittany about her drinking. But one thing, I don't know if it was the question that the producer asked him in his interview, but I liked how we saw a little bit of that realization this episode where he's like, is she drinking because of me? Because I know just from talking to Brittany, she says that she has not like thrown up once since they separated, whether drinking or not. Like, I think it was stress induced. When she broke out in hives, like her body was having a physical reaction. And was it Jasmine in her interview? She's like, no, she's not sick. She's sick of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a strong statement
It
for
really
him
was.
to realize that and say it out loud.
And when Jax has those moments, I'm like, that's the Jax I still love. I don't like him, but like I still have love for him when he can be self-aware and not just double down.
Yeah.
So it was a good moment, I felt like, where, you know what? Yeah, maybe you are the problem, Jax. It's not the drinking. She's drinking to escape the way you treat her.
Right. I mean, and stress does the body. I mean, it can destroy your body, really. I feel like if you don't take care of, your stress levels, mental health first, it comes out in physical ways. And I felt like I kept seeing that with Brittany. Like you said, like times where she was like breaking out in hives.
Literally full body.
When she needed to go to the emergency room, like, whatever that was a year ago, like it was... They ruled out all the scary stuff and told her like she needs to take care of herself and rest and like stop running herself dry.
Yeah.
I think it's just easier for men to make an excuse like you're just drinking, so you're the problem. Instead of
let's not talk about what Jax does.
Issues. And the feelings. You know?
Like, I know.
He's not. Yeah.
Literally. Okay, we're gonna take one more quick little break and we'll be right back. So the weather's getting warmer, and that means it's time to say goodbye to jackets and sweaters and hello to shorts and tees. I wanted to update mine and Summer's wardrobe, and I didn't want to spend a fortune doing so because we just bought a house. So luckily, I found Quince last year, and now I've got a lineup of timeless pieces that keep us looking effortlessly chic year after year. We have things like premium European linen dresses. They have blouses and shorts from $30, washable silk tops, 14 karat gold jewelry, and so much more. And here's the best part. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. So for this round of ordering, I got these extremely soft and comfortable crop tops, and I got them in pairs so I can keep one in my Palm Springs house, one in my Valley house. Summer has upped her wardrobe and leggings game, got some cute matching sets that are perfect for spring and summer. Summer, the daughter, and summer, the season. But I am obsessed with everything we got. And also, Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which we love. So get warm weather ready with Quince. Go to quince.com/honey for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/honey to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/honey. Okay, now I'm here to talk to you about Nurx, which is a digital healthcare platform that makes it easy to get the expert healthcare you deserve at every step of your journey. It's like, we know everybody is different, okay? So this is what's great is that Nurx provides treatment and care that is personalized to you through life's changes and transitions. Nurx is here to help you make informed choices about your health with care offerings like birth control, anti-aging prescription skincare, and treatment for common mental health concerns, all tailored to your unique health history and goals. The Nurx experts are here to help. They are licensed medical providers who possess in-depth knowledge and expertise in a range of common health concerns, helping patients find the right treatment options based on their preferences and health history. No more one-size-fits-all approaches. They only have effective, tailor-made solutions. And it's a care model designed to grow with women. From birth control to wrinkles and dark spot treatment, Nurx understands women's healthcare journeys are unique and ever-changing. And that's why Nurx's care model provides comprehensive treatment options specific for women so they can receive ongoing high-quality integrated care all in one place. Thanks to Nurx for sponsoring this podcast. Taking control of your health starts here. Go to nurx.com/goodasgold to get started. That's NURX.com/goodasgold. Results may vary, not offered in every state. Medications prescribed only if clinically appropriate, consultation required. So back to Jessie. This week, a very pregnant Janet kicked the guys out of the kitchen so she could cook dinner with their one job being to grill the meat. When Janet goes to check, Jessie immediately dismisses her. So I want to know for you how that was to watch back, and was it better or worse than you remembered in the moment?
I think it was accurate.
Yeah.
It was, maybe you didn't see just how much I was preparing all of this food kind of on my own. And it was supposed to be everybody, a potluck situation. Everybody's got groceries and everybody's going to make one thing. And so I was like, oh, great, I'm going to make one side dish. And then Brittany was going to make like a big chunk of it, but since she was sick, I was like, okay, I think I know what she's going to do.
By the way, I did help. That's like helping for me.
Yeah. I gave you a knife and mushrooms. Or green beans or something. And I was like, hey, chop these. And she's like, how big? And I was like, as big as you would eat them. But it was like all these little things. Like we had just come off like the, like lake. I was exhausted. I was starving. I'm pregnant. And like then.
Oh, I know that feeling.
It's the worst.
I said you were hungry.
Yeah. I loved when I watched her. Like, I think she's hungry. Maybe she's hangry because she's very. And I was like, that's hit the nail on the head.
Oh, yeah. And you're hormonal.
Yeah.
You are hangry.
My final straw was Jesse. As soon as he was like, I was like,
you're like the red emotion in Inside Out, just like fuming.
Jason and I call it the nuke button. Like it takes a while.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like obstacles between me and the nuke button. You have to put the code in and you have to lift up the glass box above the button and you put your hand on it. But that was like all of the little things like, okay, Brittany's sick, so I have to cook this stuff by myself. Okay, Michelle's asking me how big to cut green beans. Nia's telling me it takes 4 hours to make buffalo chicken dip. And I'm like, all right, fuck the buffalo chicken dip. What else do we got? Like, we got to get food as quickly. And I was just like, all right. And I was like, all I need was the guys to turn on the grill. Like Jasmine was like, I can man the grill. Just get someone to turn it on.
Yeah.
I was like, great. One last step. And then it was like, I saw it in slow motion. As soon as Jesse's hand, I was like, oh yeah. And I felt the tears
Welcome to
coming.
my life with Jesse on a daily basis.
I got a taste of it and I was like, I felt the tears coming and I was like, I'm not crying here and I'm not going to let Jesse know he made me cry.
Right.
And I just booked it. I was like, and I could hear footsteps behind me, Jason's, and I was like, all right, that tracks. He, of course, is going to come check on me. And then cameras coming in. And Jason said, as almost always, the perfect thing, you're right, I'm sorry. And I was like,
oh my God, he's so nice.
But that's how
all
a
I
husband
needed.
should be, especially a pregnant, hungry wife in that moment. Like, there's no other way that you should have been treated. And it's like, Jax, take some lessons.
Right. I think Jax even said at some point, like, well, you came in at a really bad time. And I'm like, doesn't matter. I was pregnant, hungry, and cooking for all of us. Like,
and how long were they having that conversation? Maybe already over an hour, you know?
They had been holding each other crying for so long.
Literally.
They were all crying.
And I didn't know what they were talking about out
Same
there,
here.
obviously. Like, later, people were like, well, Danny was crying. And I'm like, why?
How would you know that?
Right.
I didn't know.
You're
Yeah,
not
I didn't
in the
know
back
what they
with
were
the
talking
producer
about.
cam watching the scene.
No,
like, you're in the
I
kitchen.
I wish I was, but no, all I was thinking is like, they're out there. Nobody cares. Like, everyone's just like, oh, Janet's, slaving away, Cinderella in there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm, cooking. And as soon as I asked for one thing, like the dismissal, I was like, well, then forget this. Then make yourself fucking dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
that's
I would have said the same thing.
Fully had a meltdown. I saw when that scene, like on our preview before the season aired, there was like a clip of that. It was like my ugly cry face. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. I was like, maybe they'll cut that. No.
No, they love to do the ugly cry memes and whatnot.
But I do think it was good. Jason did the right thing. I think that was a good lesson maybe for the guys. Like, admit that.
For sure.
Like Jason, he really felt bad. He was like, I should have been making sure that like, you can relax a little bit, that you're like getting your basic needs of food met.
Yeah. But then also he is new to balancing, a TV show, a group of friends, a pregnant wife, all at the same time.
Right.
So it's like, but he did the right thing.
Yeah.
So kudos to Jason.
Yep.
And let's also make note that this was just a few days after Jesse came back from ayahuasca, right? So it was like an instant moment of, oh, it seems like he's changed, and then straight back to Jesse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was one night of, what do you call that?
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but that does not change how you deal with things in a marriage.
As you said, he needed a whole new personality.
Oh, people hated that comment. But I said a lot of different things.
I got what
like,
you meant.
I was trying to say, like, you're just constantly rude, you're dismissive, you're this and that. Like, you need to change all those things. And people are like, why don't you try changing your personality?
You're like, well, how about I leave him and then I'll have a different personality because I'll be happy.
Yeah. By the way, I have a different personality now.
Yeah,
for those who want to know.
It's much lighter, and I love to see. I mean, I loved you before from the day I met you. I mean, we bonded right away at Brittany's birthday last year in Vegas. But just seeing, you now and through that last year of your marriage to how happy you are now, I love to see it.
Thank you.
Me too.
Yeah. So, Janet, watching the season back and seeing what played out in the hallway, do you wish you had maybe excluded Jesse from the baby moon as well?
Yes and no. I mean, it was more like they're a package deal and I needed Michelle there.
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
And I felt like, Jesse definitely reacted poorly and like that was, unacceptable. Like, shoving and whatever.
Yelling at
really-
Kristen, hitting the table, pushing Brittany.
Mhm.
It's like, there have been so many things in just a few episodes.
Yeah,
It's like,
I think it was aggressive. And, when you play them all right back, then you suddenly maybe see that.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I did feel like at that time that Kristen was kind of bringing in these bombs that didn't like had gone through the telephone ringer like 7 times that were like then just suddenly like more like lies than truth. And so I was like, I just need a break from that. And like that was like kind of what felt like the cause or like being like instigating a lot of these then crazy moments that, then people are screaming at each other and angry in a whole different way that I was just like, we just gotta separate everybody for a minute.
That two couples are just not getting along. Why are you gonna have them stay in one house? So you gotta pick.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys wouldn't have gone if I invited them.
No.
Like, and I think that was the general consensus.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, where it's tricky when you're on a show with an ensemble cast and there is a group trip. Everyone expects to be invited, but depending on whose trip it is, people don't always get invited. I wasn't invited to Havasu. It was Katie's girls trip. I was the only girl excluded. That sucked.
I didn't think about that, but yeah.
I'm like, I've been that person too. If it was Lala's trip, Ariana, Raquel, anyone else, I would have been invited. But it's like, Katie didn't want me on her trip. And yeah, it sucked to not be there. But it's like, on an ensemble cast show, you don't always all go on the group trip. And people need to understand that. And Kristen should know that better than anyone.
And by the
Zack
way,
has been around us long enough to also know how this works.
Yeah.
it was very clear that Kristen didn't invite us to her t-shirt little party. So if you didn't invite us to that little event, why is it a big deal?
Event that there was a flyer for.
Right.
And she's like, well, she didn't invite me to the dinner. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, it's always like this
Tit
and
for
this
tat.
and this. Yeah. And maybe it got out of hand, but at the end of the day, I was like, this is,
Your
this is
pregnancy and
Yeah.
And this is also what I would have done whether cameras were there or not. Like I needed a break from Kristen at that time. And people are really up in arms about that. But, all I can do is continue to be authentic and do what I would either way. And I think at the end of the day, people maybe don't are like, oh, that's not how these, reality TV rules work. And it's like, well, at the end of the day, I think that the audience actually does appreciate when people are doing what they would either way.
Yeah. And with that being said, that's where I do get that perspective now of Ariana walking out at the end of the season. I know I have kind of parroted what Lala said by just being like, in the moment, it felt like a slap in the face. Now, after living the reunion, watching it back, I'm like, that was authentic to her in that moment. And I do understand that perspective as well.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with being on a show, watching it back is you do get new perspectives. Sometimes I just feel like it's too late. And it's like, well, you said last week it was this. And I'm like, I'm trying to explain. In the moment, I understood Lala's frustration and that's how I felt. I then also understood that, yes, it's like there was this really good article that just came out I saw where a couple of our executive producers and the editor were interviewed. And I was reading it and I was like, oh, when they said, there are 2 versions of reality. And Lala's is like, where I was standing by her with this, it is our job and we have to film with people we don't want to film with and have uncomfortable conversations. And I was like, yes, I get that. Yeah. Ariana's version of reality is, if it was a camera or no camera, it doesn't matter. I acted the way I would act. And I'm like, oh, I get that too. And this is why I get in so much trouble because I live in the fucking gray.
And you can see
I'm
both
like,
sides.
I see both sides.
Yeah.
But that's not okay. It's
Yeah.
like one or the other.
Yeah.
And it's so hard
It's not
because
always
it's
that
like
simple.
And I think the 3 of us too have in common right now that we have gotten a lot of negativity this
Wait,
season.
You mean we're all not the
Absolutely.
fan favorites? What do you mean? I thought
I would have
everybody
never
loved
imagined.
us,
I'm
you
like,
know?
the fact that everybody thinks Jesse was trying so hard and I just left a marriage. I'm like, do you guys not realize we got divorced right after filming? Like, you just saw the very tail end of our relationship. And somehow I'm the villain.
Yeah. No, I know. I've seen that. It's like show villain, actual villain, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's where you just gotta, take what the audience says sometimes with a grain of salt. And it's like, you know what? We're showing up, we're filming a show for entertainment, to show our perspectives, to show real life things that we're going through in hopes that people can relate to it. And that's what I love about y'all's show is it's showing relationships in different stages.
Yep.
It's showing parenting. Next season is going to navigate two couples who are separated,
Oh,
filing
goodness.
for divorce and navigating that. And that is honestly more relatable, I think, than a happy couple married with the kid. That's so much more unlikely in this day and age. So I love that you guys get to show all of those. And it is uncomfortable at times. But
and we're not perfect. Like, that's the other thing.
No,
I'm like,
it is.
there are comments too where I'm like, I agree with you. Like,
Absolutely.
I had a weak moment, or like one of the things, like, I will happily, you know, while I think everybody has kind of made mistakes and said things like calling Kristen crazy Kristen, I regret that. That was not kind of me. I shouldn't have said that. Like, I can look back now and in those moments and be like, oh, Janet, that was not like, that's
I've
not
had
a
a
good
couple
move.
of those moments too,
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it's also like you're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And like there's stuff where I'll double down and be like, I meant that and I will never back down on that. But there's other stuff where I'm like, that wasn't cool.
yeah, I know you had gotten a lot of shit when you made a comment earlier this season that you didn't think Kristen should procreate. Do you still feel that way? Were you just pissed when you said that? Like, is there any additional context?
I honestly don't even remember saying that. When I watched it, I'm like, ooh, that doesn't even sound like me. And
Yeah.
I should have not said that. I have been so angry because I just felt like she's creating a family, but she's trying to attack my family and my marriage. And I just felt attacked as a person, and I was frustrated, and she was doing it all on TV, but absolutely not. Like, I hope she gets pregnant one day and has a baby, and it was just a moment of weakness, and I shouldn't have said that.
And that's the thing. We can look back, reflect, and grow and be like, you know what? Actually, that was a shitty thing to say. So that is the beauty and the hard part of this show.
Yeah.
But I love that we get to, you know, look back and reflect, and it's like, damn, I shouldn't have said that.
And I felt so bad that I actually I called her once.
Oh, wow.
It was the first time I ever tried calling her since filming, but she didn't answer or call me back. But I just wanted to, like, I didn't even want to have a discussion. I was like, I saw that moment on what I said. I didn't mean it, and I'm very sorry.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. You know, I mean, it's not always easy to just admit when you're wrong and apologize.
Yeah.
And so I respect you for doing that.
Me
Thank
too.
you.
Yeah.
I was shocked when you told me that you picked up the phone
Yeah,
and called
I
her.
didn't
I was
know
like,
that.
really? But I think that's big
That's
of you.
huge.
And that is who you are. You are a very kind person. And I feel like when I saw that clip, I was like, oh my gosh, Michelle.
And I don't think that's something that you text. And it was just
No.
like, I'm
Yeah.
going to try to call you once. And if you want to talk to me, you can call me back.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that moment.
Yeah. So I saw, Janet, that you've gotten also, just talking about comments and things, a bit back and forth with Zack in the comments where, and I know this story and I don't know how much you can say, but you said that Zack wished death upon you and your unborn child and basically said he didn't care if you miscarried your baby. And you also
Did I say
commented
that? No.
that you didn't think that Zack and Kristen wanted you to have a successful pregnancy. So is there anything more that you can say about this to the listeners?
Well, I will say, part of the advice that I got from you and Lala and everybody was like, don't get in the comments. And like,
And then I saw you in the comments.
It's
I'm like,
impossible. I try my best, but it's
tough.
impossible to
I know.
not
it's
read
like,
anything.
You know
It's
that
like we're
sound
human.
on TikTok that's like, I'm not going to do it, girl. I'm not going to do it. And it's like, I did it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of how I just, look, there's so much in this. I'm navigating this new situation of having life and friendships and enemies and all of the things on TV. So, and because our group is a real friend group, Zack and I have a ton of history. You know this history. We've had problems.
I know.
And
Which
situations.
wasn't shown on the show.
and
because it was prior.
Yeah, and it all happened before we picked up cameras in our lives, and I gave him a fresh start, you know, at my birthday, but there's so much that had happened, and there's things that then have happened since, and I want everybody, I guess it's going to be it might be a long wait, but I really do believe like the truth comes out in the end. And I want everybody just maybe like stay tuned. Like, don't make a full opinion right now on this. give it a breather. Zack and I need to have a conversation at some point.
I think you do for sure, because at Brittany's birthday dinner, I know he only came because Brittany knew you weren't coming. That was kind of still when you were in you didn't want to be around people. Baby was young and whatnot.
Quarantining, yeah.
And I hadn't spoken to him since I knew he said that to you. I did not wish him a happy birthday. I did not talk to him for 6 months between 4 months between end of filming and Brittany's birthday. And at her birthday, he was like, I was like, not the time or place. I was like, we were here for Brittany. We're not. I was like, today I'm fine with you, but like you and I also need to have another conversation as someone who has lost a baby. He's like, I know, it was disgusting. It was inexcusable. I was like, we're not doing this today.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's why I was a little surprised by the whole comment thing.
Yeah. And especially Kristen now has also been through a pregnancy loss. So it's like for her best friend to be saying this, I certainly hope she's also holding him accountable, because it's just the worst thing you could possibly say to a pregnant person.
I agree. And, there's, like I said, there's so much more history, and I think, and things and conversations that need to be had. But I'm going to continue doing what I always have been doing, which is try to be open and honest and have those conversations. So, everything that happens in between season 1 and season 2, like I plan on being very open, addressing everything as I need to, having those tough conversations, and, we'll have to kind of go from there. And I will say, like that sermon at church when we were just like going over and over about forgiveness and what it means and all this stuff, I was like, I think this literally might be a sign from God. Like part of me thought like, I'm never having, I don't know, a conversation with him again.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, you know what? It's not about anybody else. It's about me. And like forgiveness is about yourself and like letting it go and not holding on to hate and anger and things like that. So that's something I'm working on.
Yeah.
Likewise.
And in the meantime, I've learned also like, is even if I want to chime in and be like, actually, here's the history. I'm never going to be able to explain all of it.
Totally.
And it's just kind of, you're going to have to wait and see. And I've realized like jumping in and giving even more thing actually just makes it more confusing. And it's hard to give context. So
yeah,
and,
I got that.
I've learned the comment section is not the place to dive in. It's only going to create more negativity and hate. And like, I don't want that. Yeah. It just,
for sure.
It's a lot. And like I said, it's like real friendships, real conflict, everything because it's real. Like there's just a lot there.
Yeah, there is. Well, very excited for season 2. Okay, to wrap this up, I wanted to know, have y'all seen that viral video of the 4 Seasons Orlando baby?
Yes.
Okay, so
I feel like this is Isabella.
So there's this video going around. It's gone viral of a dad holding a baby, and there's a toddler in the background. The mom asks, "Who's excited to be staying at the 4 Seasons?" And then it's like the baby, almost like I think he raises him or her, I'm not sure, but like raises their hand. It's like me. And I mean, this baby's like, 7 months old, maybe? I mean, a baby. But people are saying this is like an example of a conscious baby, like Stewie from Family Guy or whatever. Do you think that's an actual thing? It's like, I mean, we're all moms, but I couldn't imagine asking my like 6 or 7 month old baby and them just being like, me, like on point, answered the question. Is this something they practice with the kid?
I mean, I feel like at that age, if you say, I don't know if you are just hyping them up about something. We're going to this vacation.
Yeah, I think that can happen.
Like that they could be like me, like not even really knowing what the 4 Seasons is or whatever. Just being like, my parents have been hyping up this thing that's called a 4 Seasons. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was so cute though. I was like, that's a baby with good taste.
Yeah, no, it was so on point. It was so funny. Yeah,
Isabella like loves like.
I try to ground her and like, this is not normal and, day to day, but it's just hard in the environment we're in and who her dad is. But I try my best.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm like, Summer needs to learn what a cold pool feels like. You little privileged kid in your 90-degree pool in Palm Springs. And Brock wanted to heat the pool the other day. And I was like, when she has her swim lessons, we'll heat the pool. But like, the gas bill, you know? I'm like, no, like I didn't have a warm pool growing up, but she knows the pool in Palm Springs, it's small. That one can be heated. But I'm like, at home, Get used to it.
Isabella's
You know?
latest thing is Amazon. She's like, can I just see your Amazon? And I'm
same.
like, why? And she wants to purchase stuff. I'm
Yes,
like, life doesn't work
really?
like that. We don't just buy toys
know.
every day. And so she'll just look at it and she's
Yeah.
like, can you buy it? Can you buy it? And I'm like, no, we're
Yeah.
not buying it. There's nothing special. You just had your birthday. We had
Uh-huh.
Christmas.
Wow.
Like, no. But she loves to just shop on Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, so I gotta
Summer's
hide
the same
Amazon.
way.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
noted.
I say we're out of something, she goes, it's okay, Mommy, just go on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just think that, like, what is that life like growing up as a kid with Amazon?
These kids are so freaking cute.
No,
I love
it's
your
hilarious.
girls.
And then when I say no, I'm like, I work really hard to buy this food. And she's like, well, then just go buy another house, Mommy. Or just go sell another house, Mommy.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up with a comment that Kyle Cook made on Summer House this week, saying to Paige that he doesn't expect someone who does a podcast to understand, suggesting that Paige wouldn't understand a business level decision. And so I just want to end this here by saying justice for Paige and justice for podcasters. If it was as easy as it looked, I'm sure, Kyle would have a weekly Loverboy podcast. He will be with us in a couple weeks, getting into some New York shenanigans with me, which we will be addressing that. But just wanted to send my girl Paige some love. And thank you, girls, for being here, my Valley
Thanks for
girls.
having us.
Even though you don't live in the Valley, but it's okay.
matter.
We'll get you over there eventually.
She's a Valley girl.
I said I was a West Side girl forever, and then I got over there. So
Then you looked at home prices on the
I
West
know,
Side.
and then Michelle sold me my home.
Yeah.
So
Which
That
is
was such
gorgeous.
a
Thank
great
you.
experience.
no, it was, and I
Yeah.
was so happy to go through that experience with you.
By the way, you were the easiest client I've ever had.
Yay,
That just shows what
thanks.
kind of person you are.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
I love it.
All right, so next week, season finale.
Is it?
Is it?
Do I think
Oh,
we
wait,
should
two
do
more.
Two
Two
more,
more.
I think.
Okay,
I think.
and no reunion. We just got to get right into
I'm
season 2.
shocked.
So
I wish we had a reunion. I would really like to talk. I want to sit everybody down and give them a piece of my mind.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
But
Same
maybe
here.
by not having a reunion, cameras will be up and running even sooner because there's a lot going on in y'all's group. And
Yeah.
you needed to start filming 2 weeks ago.
I know.
I'm dying to
For
see
us-
the finale.
Yeah.
Let's
cannot
take a
wait.
summer off. But yeah.
Yeah, you guys need a summer off
Uh-huh.
and to have a relaxing summer. And
Yeah.
I'm actually excited. I feel like for VPR to see a different time
I would
period
love
of life.
that. Let's take a
Yeah.
snow trip.
Yeah.
Let's do different things. Not have Tom Sandoval's fucking birthday
I was
every
just saying,
goddamn
you
season.
only see the same people's birthdays over and
We're
over.
always filming
Yeah.
July 7th.
Yeah.
No matter what, if we start earlier, and it's always his birthday
Yeah.
that we're filming during. So it would be nice to have a Halloween party, Friendsgiving, go to the snow,
Yeah.
just do a different season of year.
I like that. And it means maybe we can steal you over for a little bit this summer.
Mhm. Stay tuned. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll be back next week with I Don't Know Who. Bye.
I've been searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy